Here's a little lid that I didn't show you in the previous part of this video. This thing is going to end up being terribly long, but we'll see. This is one that I like to use for teapots, and the reason is it goes down into the pot, and this part right here where I'm sticking that pencil is pretty deep. It is very deep as they go, and I can still get my fingers out from under it. This one's been bisque fired and has glaze on it, and it's ready to go. This is going to be a do-over, by the way. Excuse me. This is going to be a do-over because it came out looking pretty bad the first time I glazed it, so this one's going to get a makeover, and it's pretty much ready to go fire again. So I always put a little hole in it right here, and then the hole comes, there's a hole right down in there, but it's to let steam out, and you have to let a little steam out, or then you create a kind of a vacuum in there. But I like this kind of lid because it sits down in there's still a gallery. You still have a little gallery, but the lid sits down in there flush, and then this part is pretty deep. It just works real well for teapots because when you turn a teapot to pour, you don't want that lid to just flop off of there. So, I mean, you have to know which of your teapots lose their lids and which ones don't, and this one won't. So that's the reason I like to use those. Anyway, I will demonstrate in just a minute how to make one of these. I don't know if that light is necessary or not. So here we are. I'm going to show you that little teapot lid, and I've got my little doorknob made. But before I do that, I want to show you something on those other two little lids that we did yesterday. I know you think I work at this 24/7, and I sometimes do, but not this week. So these are the two little lids that we made for the Munchies canister. I have a feeling this one is going to be the one, and that's going to fit. I don't know about it design-wise yet, but I wanted to remind you that when you have a solid, anything solid that you put on top of one of these, you need to drill a hole through the middle there to let air get up in there and help to dry that out. And I've got a smaller hole in that one. And any place that you have clay that's more than about a ½ inch thick, you really need to put some kind of passageway for air to get through there. So let me just show you this. Here, I'll take this off the wheel for a minute. Set it over here. So here's our little Munchies canister. And this hasn't quite dried yet, and you can tell that by the color of the clay. This is going to be the same color as that. It almost is going down in, this part is almost going down in there. And so that's going to be kind of cute. It's going to sit right in, probably right around in there somewhere. But I know it's going to fit the gallery because when I turn it upside down, it fits in the gallery right there. So this is going to probably be the one. The only thing is we got so carried away, I shouldn't say we, I got so carried away doing all kinds of decoration on the outside of this, and I didn't do the same thing over here. So I'm either going to well, I may be able to do something with glaze that will make these two things look like they belong together. But if not, I'll just make another lid and make it simpler to put on here. And this can go to the next one, and I'll put a design just like that on the canister, which is actually a good idea. Because when you kind of do, I put some stars on there. Sometimes when you have the munchies, you are just kind of seeing stars. If you're sometimes you just have you just have something in mind that you want to have for a snack, and it's real easy to get carried away with that kind of thing. We're just like little kids. Okay, so on this little teapot lid that's got the deep business there, I'm gonna get that not real thin down here because I don't want it to start wobbling, but I'm going to push that deep part down first. I'm going to slow that down a little bit. Now I'm leaving this clay in the middle so that, and I'm going to turn it down and try to keep it centered. I'm not actually trying to make the little handle quite yet. I just want to keep control of the clay for now. So I'm going to push that down. Try not to let it get too off center. Whee! Okay, so let's put some light on it for you. So now I'm going to slow it down just a bit more, put some more water on there, and I'm going to push up, or pull up, sorry. So here's what it looks like. I've got a little, I have a little moat in here, and here's what I'm going to make the handle out of. So I want to dress this up a little bit down here and get it the way it needs to be. Okay, you never know if I have you back in the viewfinder when I do that. Okay, wet hands. I'm going to come in kind of like I'm throwing a little bowl. And judging from how deep this is, I need to wipe that out. You don't want water to get, whoa, don't do that. You don't want water sitting down in here. So you have to look at how deep the moat is and then get under the moat, because you want to have some part of this that sticks through. So I'm probably going to be cutting it off right around in this area. So meanwhile, okay, now sometimes you may have a little, well, let's make sure that this wall is nice and even. And let's take our leather and go around this edge, because the edge of a teapot lid takes a beating if you actually use yours, and I do use mine. And I hope that the ones that I've sold to other people, I hope they use them. Okay, so now I'm going to turn this out just a bit, because this part right here, this little flange you're making right here, is going to sit in the gallery of your teapot. And you can make it slant up, or you can make it completely flat. Boy, I was outside working a while ago, and the neighbors are mowing the yard and blowing grass all over the place. I probably should have abandoned my project and come in. Okay, so now what to do with our little knob here. You can actually, it looks pretty good the way it is, but I think I want to, don't start at the bottom and make that little thing real spindly and then try to do something with the top, because you pinch it right off, and you run the risk of pinching it right off at any rate. So you want this thing to stick up. Right now I'm pushing down with my left hand and just kind of holding it steady in there with my right. So your knob can look like, you know, anything that you want to come up with. You just need to remember that these kinds of lids, you need to be able to get your fingers underneath. Sometimes if you grasp something and all you can get hold of is what you can hold between your fingers, you end up dropping it if your hands are wet. You could make a little hollow bulb out of that. Once you get the top part of it sort of in the right shape, then you can get in here and try to narrow this little, but be sure you hang on to it, because it'll definitely try to it's very easy to pinch the little lid, the little knob off. Okay, so there you go. You're just going to you're going to leave clay in the middle, throw a little bowl, leave enough down here that it can seep down into past the gallery on the teapot. And I think that I even have, let me clean my hands off behind it. Here, I found another example, a bisque piece for this type of a lid. Here's my little moat, and I've got plenty of weight. The weight of this one is low, so it really, and the other teapot in there too, that's really one of the advantages to having a lid like this, is because your center of gravity is very low, and you're not likely to have any problem with that if it shifts a little bit. And so you've got enough of a handle to hang on to, and room enough to get your fingers in there to pick that up. So you remember these two lids right here we made. I was unhappy with the lid. What did I do with the lid? I had a different lid for this. I made this at the time thinking that it was okay, and then this is the lid that sat too far down into the gallery. So I made these two lids thinking that one of them would work, and these are dry enough to handle, but very carefully. So that one looks like a little garden gnome, kind of. I don't know, something about the shape of it. It fits the gallery perfectly, and it fits inside this part fits inside the gallery. I don't know if you can see that. This part right here fits inside the gallery really well, and this fits into the gallery as well. Let's see if you can see that. So I don't know. It looks a little like a gnome. I don't know why. Okay, so let's try this one. I think this is going to be our one, if it'll fit in there. This one is still very wet. Actually, this one is heavier than this one. I think I just, for some reason, made it thicker. But it'll, oh, now that looks a lot better. And that is higher. It's sitting more, they call it sitting proud. It's sitting up in the gallery better than the other one, and it fits right in there. So that's a good fit. So that looks a lot better. It's sitting down in there, and look how snug that measurement is. Remember, that's the one that we took such pains to measure correctly. And this was the one that was already bone dry by the time I decided to make the lid. So this works a lot better. Well, I put this one out on the picnic table, and it finally got dry enough to come off of the bat. This is the flat one that we did the measuring for, because we measured the inside. We measured this and this in order to get our rim exactly in that spot. So let's see how it works. And that fits beautifully in there. Might trim, of course it's not completely dry yet, but I probably could stand to trim a little bit around here, make this just a little thinner, and of course I can do something around here, but that's a fit. And I'll shake it a little bit. It just doesn't shake. I mean, it shakes a little bit, but not much. So that's a good lid. That's a good style to have. You could throw something onto the top. You could carve little bands in it. You could there are a whole lot of things you can do with a lid like this to jazz it up a little bit. But this is a good practical lid for kitchen utility type purposes. So, I think I've probably told you about every lid that I make, and but if I think of one that I've left out, I'll come back and make another video. And if you think of one and you like it, or you want to know how to make it or something, feel free to send me an email and shoot me a picture of some kind of lid that you're not quite sure how they did it. Send me a picture and I'll figure out how they did it and show you if I can. And so I'd be happy to help you in that way. So this is Lids signing off. Thank you for watching. There are 3 videos to these lids, by the way. And I also included them on a playlist on my channel that has videos, all the videos. I think there's about 14 or something of them, 15. And they all have something to do with lids, whether it's trimming them, seating them, the tagine, all of them. So peruse that and see if there's anything there that gives you some kind of an idea too. So thank you so much for watching. Take care.